What's going on, Century Unit? It's the Century Man here. So this is my reviews of WCW's Monday Nitros for the 13th of November, 1995, and the 20th of November, 1995. So anyway, originally I should have done a live stream hours ago. I should have done a live reaction of, the Barclays Premier League game between Leeds United, Arsenal. Unfortunately, had a problem with my charger keeps dying down. Every time I'm trying to attempt to charge my phone, it's kind of like do sounds of you're trying to charge it, and then sometimes you get like the battery icon with the sometimes it's the battery icon with the thunder really in the middle of the battery icon. It signs like it charged, and sometimes sometimes you get like what's it called, that information point, not question mark information point. It's a sign that it's dying. It's kind of throw off the schedule. I don't. I'm not doing this for a full time. I'm just trying to do these videos. I should do it on Friday. The traditional Fridays I do my reviews on Monday Nitros, and on Sunday. And weekends, Sunday, Saturday reviews of WWE's pay-per-view reviews and WCW's pay-per-view reviews. So it's kind of throw it off course. So anyway, so let's review Monday Nitros for the 13th of November 95 and the 20th of November 1995. Probably review World War III probably next week. Yeah, it's thrown off our course. Anyway, second. Family Guy. Anyway, so Nitro started off with, I'm talking about the 13th of November's episode of Nitro. I'm talking about, anyway, Nitro started out with Hulk Hogan. He's still Dark Side Hulk Hogan. 1 year later, become Hollywood Hulk Hogan, wearing all black. At least they made him dark side. He's vowed to go into the dark side because the last month, Dungeon and Doom attacking Hulk Hogan took the world title of Hulk Hogan. Basically, he's dressed up like this. He's just like the Executioner or Phantom of the Opera. He's got the black. He was wearing this black cloak, black mask, holding a scythe. Basically, he said about Randy Savage wants to bring Meng's head of a silver platter. Bringing Meng's head of silver platter. I think he had a dig at Sting about being a little dog, and is he in the dark side of Hulkamania or the light side of Hulkamania? Is he part of the Dungeon and Doom? Anyway, and it's just like, at least for once, I'll give WCW once made Hulk Hogan Dark Side Hulk Hogan for once. He's still doing all brother and dude. He will do that when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan in 1996. This is so cheesy. I'll give Hogan some props, but oh my god. Anyway, so the first match of the 13th of November's episode of Nitro, we got Randy Savage versus Meng. Savage is also joining the dark side, wearing black. It's really planting the seeds for in the golden years of Monday Nitros of those 96 and 97. To be part of the NWO. Anyway, Randy Savage versus Meng represent the Dungeon of Doom. The match was okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay for what it is. I hate Meng sometimes. I think Meng's terrible. He's a typical actually, he's not really Samoan. I think he's Tonganese. I think Tonga, Fiji, whatever. I hate these typical slow pace Islander wrestlers. They mostly do he does the kicks and the trapeze hold. I think he worked on the leg. No, that was a different match. Anyway, the match was okay. In the end, you got basically I think Jimmy Hart showed up a little bit, and then you got the Taskmaster. In the end, Savage hit the diving elbow onto Meng to score the victory. It was so predictable that Savage will get the victory. And afterwards, the Dungeon of Doom beating down Savage, and then you got Lex Luger injuring the arm of Macho Man Randy Savage, And moving on to the next match. The next match, we got Chris Benoit versus Kensuke Sasaki. Kensuke Sasaki. And surprise, this was a not too bad match. Sasaki's not too bad in the ring. He's okay. He does some big power slap moves. He's not like typical Japanese wrestlers, doing high flyers. Some Japanese wrestlers, they do like, power moves. And Sasaki, wow, look at his physique. He built like a brick shit house, man. Man, shit. He had some offense. Benoit got the victory with the Dragon Suplex to score the victory. Okay, and then we got basically the match of the night for the 13th of November's episode of Nitro. We got, I think it's Johnny B. Bad versus Eddie Guerrero for the television championship. This was good. Awesome match. I think it got really rough in the lateral stages of the match. Before that, I think like Guerrero, I think it hit like high flying maneuvers. Eddie Evano's is high flyer. B-Bad is a little, I think he does some high flying moves, but he's underrated. Mark Merrow. Anyway, the match it got really rough. I feel like B-Bad hit Eddie with I think it was a right hook or something, and basically they end up like brawling, punching, because everyone knows Mark Merrow is a boxer. They end up like brawling, punching, and the match ended in a time limit draw. Johnny retains the title. They end up like brawling, punch, but they end up making up. Both raised each other's hands, and that was it. That was really good. Good technical style wrestling. And, Eddie, it's a shame. I don't think he won a television title in WCW. He's United States champion and a cruiserweight champion, but I don't think he won the TV champion. TV title, sorry, in WCW. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to the second interview segment of this episode of Nitro is Dungeon of Doom. Basically, interviewed by Mean Gene Oakland. Basically, he had, he really trying to. He said to Jimmy Hart, you sold Hulk Hogan down the river, and then Jimmy Hart basically said about thanks for the compliment, Mean Gene, and talked about. So really put over both Giant and Taskmaster. Said they're the smartest man in pro wrestling. We took the title away from Hulk Hogan, and basically Kevin Sullivan said about said about give the world title to the Giant. Yeah, they're building up the battle royal at World War III, and then Giant said about there's only one man's gonna win the world title. That's me. I'm gonna end the immortal Hulk Hogan, and that was it. It was okay, not too bad. The Dungeons and Doom, the bad. The promo was okay. Jamie Hart got some boos. He got that heat after turning on Hulk Hogan, and the Giant. At least the Giant didn't do a riddle. In the last, I think the last two Nitros or one Nitro, he did like a rhyming promo. Anyway, moving on to the main event of the 13th of November's episode of Monday Nitro. We got Sting versus Dean Malenko, a decent match. Really the bulks of the match, Malenko work on the leg of Sting. I feel like one more of the match, Sting locked Malenko with the Scorpion Deathlock, but Malenko reached the ropes. In the end, Malenko was going for I think he was going for the Texas Cloverleaf. I don't know if he's from Texas, Malenko. I think he's from Florida. Anyway, he was going for the Texas Cloverleaf. Sting countered it with a small package to score the victory, and then you got the final interview segment of this Nitro. Basically Sting really answered Hulk Hogan's remarks about being, he said about, a little dog waiting at the perch, and he said, I am the big dog. He said about a list of many people trying to get in my way, and I had no problems with you, and this is the big dogs play, and it's a reference, be WCW's, what was it, WCW's motto. This is the big boys play. Instead, this is the big dogs play, and basically challenged Hulk Hogan to a match for the following week's episode of Nitro, and that was the end. Before I get to the next episode of Nitro, Need Abyss. I'm back, so let's get to the following week's Monday Nitro for the 20th of November 1995. This is the go home show to World War III. Anyway, it started off with Scott Norton versus the Shark. Boy, they've been feuding for weeks now, ever since on the September 11th episode of Monday Nitro, when basically Shark caused Norton the match against Randy Savage. The other match a couple weeks ago that ended in a double countout. So, boy, it started out with, I think it was the Shark. Oh, by the way, they called Norton the Flash. What the hell, man? Anyway, so it started out with a brawl. The match is basically blink. It's mostly if you blink, you miss it. It's I think Norton hit Shark with a power slam to score the victory. That was a waste. That was a fucking waste, man. Shark is terrible. Norton, I think he was bad. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to Jimmy Hart and Taskmaster's interview from the previous week. Same interviewer, Mean Gene Okerlund, and basically talked about, he's basically really called Jimmy Hart, you're Benedict Arnold, you're still in the part of trouble. And Jimmy Hart says, thanks for the compliment, the same as the previous week's episode, Nitro. It said about, he kind of like, said about Sting, do it, beat Hulk Hogan. And he brought the episode of Baywatch, he said about Hogan, he said about, Hogan's too much hanging his new best friend, Randy Savage, but they were friends. They were friends for years. They were friends in WWF. They were enemies. Feuding in 1989, but they're part of the tag team known as the Mega Powers. What new best friend? What Jimmy Hart's on about? He said about like, did Hogan call for you to be in an episode of Baywatch? No, I don't think so. Randy Savage did, and he said that he wants, Jimmy Hart's not gonna be there for the Little Hulkamaniacs, and also you got like Taskmaster hyping up this battle royal, and he said, "Are you a bad man, me, Gene?" The Dungeon of Doom, had the what's it? I can't remember. Sorry. He talked about like, and Mean Gene ended it with a, you go, I'm not a better man, you know that. I think it's like the Dungeon Doom is adding new members. I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. I just don't remember. I've seen it. I've seen it like 2 days before. Anyway, moving on to the next match. The next match, we got Eddie Guerrero taking on Brian Pillman with Ric Flair in the corner. And really, he entered. Brian Pillman entered the ring with Ric Flair's theme music with Ric Flair in the corner, and Ric Flair basically shut down the fans. Said about, you thought I'm gonna face Eddie Guerrero, and said about, he brings up Ben Wise, now member of the Horsemen, and said about like there's gonna be a private jet with hula girls, and then he said to Pillman, oh, he put over Pillman, like the great Flying Brian Pillman. And it's about, if you beat Eddie Guerrero, I'll let you hold the jet. You know, I think Flair will get. I think Flair could afford a jet. It's a damn shame they never had the chance to see like a cut like a film a scene like the Horseman in a jet with hot women, or in a jacuzzi with hot women. That'll be good. That'll be a good segment. You know, like because basically, you know, living the lifestyle. You know, but unfortunately, I don't know. Anyway, so the match was good. Match was good. I feel like Eddie Guerrero hit like this cool high fly move off the top rope and outside the ring. That was sick. It's almost he flow feet and really it's really out of the really it's like 2 3 meters away from the ring. That was sick. The match ended with basically Eddie hit Brian Pillman with a frog splash to score the victory. I'd rather have Brian Pillman getting the victory to boost his stock in WCW. Yeah, he didn't last in WCW that long. You know, I know he'd been there for years, but you know, he went. You know, a few months later, had a cup of coffee in ECW, and then he'll be in the WWF in the really the whole bulk of 1986. Yeah, the accident. That's another story for another time. So, you know, I understand Eddie, you know, getting the victory because he didn't he didn't lose. He didn't lose against Johnny B. Bad the previous week. I'd rather have Eddie taking the loss, you know. But it's just what it is. And I think, and before the start of this match, you had basically Disco Inferno dancing. I don't get it. You know, every time like some wrestler entrance played, and you got Disco Inferno dancing, and you got whether it's a babyface or heel wrestler, you know, leaving, you know, or entering the ring. Sorry, I don't get it. I like Disco Inferno. I think he's okay. I think some people do like or hate Disco Inferno. Oh, Glenn Gilberti, WCW, and you know he had a. I don't think he's in Impact Wrestling. Is he? Anyway, moving on to the next match. The next match we got Road Warrior Hawk taking on Big Bubba. Big Bubba is the former Big Boss Man. Anyway, it was a rematch from a couple of nitros, probably on I think it was on in September or the beginning of October. You know, you had Disco Inferno interfere that Road Warrior Hawk lost by a count out. Anyway, the match was okay. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying the match was bad. You know, the opener was shit. It was basically blink and you miss it. It was okay for what it is. In the end, you had I think it was Jim Duggan cost Big Bubba the match, so Road Warrior got the victory. And moving on to the main event. The main event, we got Sting versus Hulk Hogan. This is their first match together. You know, people talk about their first match. People think Hogan and Sting fought one-on-one for the first time at Starrcade 97. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This was the first meeting between Sting and Hulk Hogan because their paths never crossed because, you know, Sting was starting to be, you know, a rising star in pro wrestling and WCW. Hulk Hogan was the megastar in the WWF, was basically the catalyst of the company's boom period 7 years earlier in the 80s and the early 90s. The match was okay. I don't think Sting's and Hogan matches over the years in WCW. I covered How and Habit 99. You know, that bullshit. You know, Hogan, laid down and Sting getting the victory. I don't think they had good matches, including that match in TNA at Bound for Glory. That was bad. Winner gets the part. If Sting wins, he gets control. He gives the control back to Dixie Carter. Anyway, match was okay. You had Randy Savage came really in Hogan's corner, with the sling because he got tapped by the Dungeon of Doom and Max Luger. The match was it's very rare. Hogan never he put Sting in a cross-arm break, not cross-arm breaker, but an arm bar. It's very rare Hogan does that type of moves. Like I covered Survivor Series last week, Survivor Series 1990. He rolled up Dino Bravo with a small. No, it wasn't Survivor Series 87. That was like 2 weeks ago. He did a small package. It's very rare. No, is it Survivor Series 87 or Survivor Series 1990? Anyway, It's very rare he does these type of athletic moves. Hulk Hogan is like this big monster. Anyway, so Sting's about to Sting locked Hogan in the Scorpion Deathlock, and he's showing like he's gonna break my legs, and and then also you got the Dungeon Doom interfere, cost the DQ. Yeah, the giant choke slam, Hogan, Sting, and Savage, and then Hogan and Sting grab two ends of the chair and basically battle around the giant out of the ring. And then you got also they added Hugh Morris, who'll be Hugh G. Retchin. This was years later in WCW 2000, Misfits in action. Basically trying to restrain the giant. He's trying to get back in the ring. And that was the end of the Go Home show to World War III. Anyway, so who won this? Who won this? The 13th of November's episode of Nitro, or the 20th of November's episode of Nitro, the Go Home show to World War III. I'm gonna have to go with the 13th of November's episode of Monday Nitro. I give it, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. This was a not too bad show. You had some good matches. Johnny B. Bad versus Eddie Guerrero, Benoit versus Sasuke, and Sting versus Malenko. I don't know. The Hogan promo didn't do nothing for me. And same as the Dungeon of Doom thing. It's just like, I think like Dungeon of Doom was a terrible group, and Hogan doing the whole Dark Side thing. I like Hollywood Hogan, but Dark Side Hogan, come on, it's so cheesy. And for the following week's episode, it was meh, just meh. I'll give it like 4 out of 10. Like the only good match on the show has to be Eddie Guerrero versus Brian Pillman. Pillman. I forgot to tell you this. Pillman did like a move off like the ring apron. I understand. He's a heel. You can't do high flying moments. You can't do high flying moves as a heel because you get cheered. You want to get heat. You want to get try to do something cheating. Anyway, that was the only match of the night. Besides that, Sting and Hogan was okay. Hawk and Big Bubba was okay. Norton and Shark was the only bad on the show. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed my reviews of Monday Nitros on the 13th of November and the 20th of November 1995. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. And we'll see you next time for another review of WCW Monday Nitro, when the big boys plays. Check you later.